This copywriter made over $110,000 off of this sales letter. Give you backstory. It wasn't through cold traffic. It was through a warm list. His name is Zarak. And we're going to go ahead and review it. And even though it wasn't through cold traffic, it still is relevant for cold traffic. And I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to show you why, based on the principles that he used to sell his high ticket course product, info product. And like I said, he got the bag. The end of email copywriting, he has a pre-header. The pre-header is calling out the audience. This triple axis market shift is creating the biggest income opportunity for smart copywriters since the birth of the internet. He has a unique selling proposition. The unique selling proposition cuts through all the noise, all the saturation that's going on in your target audience. This is mine today. They're constantly getting bombarded with this ad, with this ad, with this opportunity, with this opportunity. The unique selling proposition makes it unique for your product, and it keeps you moving down the line. Here's how to position yourself for the 2025 Gold Rush. Read this entire letter to discover, and he goes on to put in fascinations. Right now, I'm going to review with you the entire lead of Zarak's sales letter. I'm going to explain why the lead is the most important part of your sales letter. And I'm going to give you tips and tricks that Zarak uses in this sales letter that you can use for your sales letter, and how there is this one piece that he did use that was new to me, and I absolutely loved it, and it will keep your readers and target audience engaged. So we're going to read the first 300 to 600 words of this letter, and it's going to be a lead. And let's get started. I'm going to begin with a blunt statement. Email copywriting is one of the worst careers to have in 2025. Automatically, he's making a bold claim. Writers who used to charge $5,000 per email sequence now scrambling for $1,000 projects. Elite email agencies quietly laying off their staff as new customer acquisition slows. Email experts with 6-month waiting lists suddenly can't find clients. I'll explain why in this short letter. And more importantly, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can use the upcoming triple axis market shift, again, utilizing his USP, his unique selling proposition that cuts through the noise that his target audience is receiving. This is the new way. This is the way. This is a different way to make $5,000 to $10,000 in the next 90 days. Bold promise. But first, did you catch that? So he keeps you engaged, he teases you, and then he says, I'll explain why in this short letter, and more importantly, okay, so we'll get to that later, but keep that in mind. So when you're reading this, he does this around 5 or 6 times in the lead, and it's amazing because it keeps your audience engaged. It's like, oh, well, if I read on, he's going to tell me what he promised earlier, so let me just continue reading. This is something that you can use in every sales letter. Reveal, tease, and then be like, but more importantly, it'll keep the reader engaged. And they'll be like, like, it's psychology. So it'll keep them moving down your sales letter. And when your target audience moves down the sales letter, you are winning because they're reading it. And if they're reading it, that means they're interested. And they're slowly gnawing on it and digesting it. The moment you lose the reader, the moment you lose their attention, especially in the lead, that money is gone, that client is gone, it's over. So you need to make sure your lead is in tip-top shape. If anyone can make claims like these, it's me. Why? Because I've got a pulse on the market that nobody else has. So with Zarak, I've studied a lot of his sales letters, and what I've noticed is similar to Doug Deanna's sales letters, which is a financial copywriter, and by all accounts, he's a legend in the finance space. Because I've got a pulse on the market that nobody else has. Doug Deanna and Zarak start their sales letter with authority. They put authority very high in the beginning of the sales letter. And I think the reason why they do that is because they want to establish it now as just to not have that look of, okay, so why should I listen to you? It's just better to open, like, you should probably listen to me earlier rather than, oh, you should probably listen to me later. And that's what they think that is the best. And so, hey, I can't knock them for it. And that's why it's imperative that you pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. See? Okay, I've read the authority. Yeah, he's right. Because if these next few months play out how I think they will, you could stand to make life-changing money as a copywriter. Again, he's verifying, he's validating the opportunity. That's why I've rushed you this letter. Because we're at a crossroad. Email copywriting as a career path is on the brink of destruction. And while a lot of copywriters are going to get stung badly from this market shift, again, agitating the problem. They're going to get stung. They're going to get hurt. You were able to visualize it. The smart, action-oriented readers of my newsletter stand the chance to pivot and make serious money in 2025. If you pay attention to this letter, again, validating that in order for you to make serious money, pay attention. So keep reading, because I'm going to show you the pivotal skill that the biggest e-com brands and info product businesses are desperately searching for in 2025. Hint, while everyone else fights over email projects, they're quietly paying $5,000 for this. So he's saying to the target audience, you're missing out. This skill right here, they're paying way more, and it is the best opportunity. And one of the things about Zarak as well is later on in this letter, he tells us how 5 years ago, email copywriting was amazing. And it's true. Like, you see all these email copywriters, they're rich, they got Lambos, they're in Miami, they're in London, they're rich. You're like, how did this dude get? And it's real because they just started popping up out of nowhere getting money. But let's continue reading. These are fascinations. These are very important to nail because they keep your reader engaged. They keep them going to the next line. This is just to keep the reader going down the slippery slope, which is to read the next line. Why I wouldn't start email copywriting in 2025. Look, you don't need to be a data analyst to know that email copywriting is not the lucrative, life-changing business opportunity that it once was. Just look around. So again, he agitates the problem. The market is saturated with offshore freelancing offering B+ email sequences for 200 pop. Look on Upwork. My friend, it's dog-eat-dog world. Everybody's racing to the bottom. He's not lying about this. AI tools are becoming more and more competent at producing A+ email copy with little to no editing. But again, he opens up the cognitive loop, teases you, but more on that later. As of right now, even the most experienced and decorated email copywriters are watching their careers crumble. Agitating the problem again. And one of the things about this sales letter is Zarak is being a salesman here. It's a 80-20, 80% problem, 20% solution right now in the lead. And he's doing a great job at it. Why? Because he's keeping the problem in your mind. He's constantly hammering in that problem. Constantly. You're going to get you're going to be able to understand one of these problems. This is when he talks about his story. Back when I started, I was 18 when an 8-figure DR supplement company took me under their wing and trained me. And I had pretty minimal experience. To do the same thing today, borderline impossible. You can write the world's best email sequence, but your client can do the same thing with a copywriter who charges a quarter of the price with AI. But here's where it gets interesting. While most copywriters panic and slash their rates, a small group of elite writers are quietly pivoting away from email copywriting and charging $5 to $10K per project. I'll reveal their secret in just a moment. So he's steady teasing his target audience. He's steady just trying to get them through the lead. Artificial intelligence is coming after your email copywriting career. Think about this for a second. Every single day AI is getting smarter. Here's another pain point. He goes down these pain points. But don't just take my word for it. All of the biggest direct response marketing are all the biggest players in direct response marketing are adapting their entire business model around artificial intelligence. I'm talking about 9-figure supplement companies ditching their old school email copywriters and bringing in AI copywriters in. $1 billion publishers training AI on the best performing emails. And here's what's really interesting. The other day, I paid $5,000 for a private 1-hour consultation with the original VSL guy. Notice how he doesn't mention the VSL guy's name. He does that on purpose. And I believe he doesn't mention it because he wants to keep you engaged. Who's this mysterious VSL guy? Why did he pay $5,000? And that person was he can reveal his name, sure, but it's much better to just put the social proof there. He is the original VSL guy. He invented VSLs. And he told me that email copywriters are going to be replaced by AI fully. This wasn't a random guru making wild claims. This was the guy who revolutionized video marketing, who's written hundreds of millions in winning copy, who's been in the trenches of direct response for decades. And he thinks that email copywriters are in for a tough year. So if you were thinking about starting email copywriting in 2025, think again. Starting email copywriting in 2025 is like trying to start a horse and buggy business right when Henry Ford was rolling out the Model T. This is a very, very great painting of a picture of what it would be like to start email copywriting. And let's just go up really quick and let me show you exactly what thing he did that was extremely important as well. On the subheaders, it matches the next subheader. So I'll show you. Market shift is creating the biggest income opportunity for smart copywriters since the birth of the internet. Here's how to position yourself for the 2025 gold rush. Okay, let's read the next subheader. No. Why I wouldn't start email copywriting in 2025. Okay, another one. It's become an uphill battle to even get your first email client. Okay. Artificial intelligence is coming after your email copywriting career. Okay. Starting email copywriting in 2025 is like trying to start a horse and buggy business right when Henry Ford was rolling out the Model T. But Zarak, don't you run an email agency? Yes, and I will continue to do so. So he addresses an objection that is a reasonable objection that his target audience would have. This crisis has created a unique money-making opportunity for copywriters who are willing to act. So when you see his subheaders, you see that they are streamlined. They're going at a nice pace and they match each other. They make sense if you were to just put them together. This is good. Why? Because if the reader is scanning, he can see one of these and he's going to be like, oh, shoot, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to start reading. Oh, okay, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to start reading. But he's already getting an idea of what it's about. And then he teases, he reveals again and again. He finally reveals his solution. But before he did that, he teased the solution. And then he said the solution, but it still wasn't fully revealed. So then he finally revealed the solution. Cold traffic copywriting. This is direct response copy right here, guys. Regardless of if it was a warm list or not. This is direct response. This is the principles. And this is how he made over $110,000. If I'm being honest, it would be around $115,000, $118,000 from this sales letter. I would recommend taking these 4 biggest tips. Have a unique selling proposition, especially if your market is saturated. Make sure in the pre-header you call out your audience. The biggest one, I would say, on number 3 is know your audience. Know your target customer. Know their problems. Have a pulse on the market so that you can speak to them like you're them. You can speak directly to them and they will know you. It's just funny to me when people don't know their target audience and they're offering this over here, offering that over there, and they're offering so much that they're not getting to that person. They're not getting to that one individual who will pay them, who wants to pay them, because you're offering too much. And 5, I would use that tip that he's using where he reveals something very interesting and then he's like, but first, let me get to this. I would also use positioning authority pretty early on. But you can use it after a little bit later, but I would opt in for using it early on. And make sure your lead is at tip-top shape. If you want to master cold traffic copywriting, or just direct response copywriting in general, you have to know your target audience. It's a must. You have to know who you're targeting. You have to know what they're feeling, what their biggest problems are, so that you can intercept them. And maybe you might make $120,000